Houston, Apollo 11. On one of the larger craters on the back side, I noticed a small dark speck on the outer wall, and I'm putting a monocular on it. I was able to see an area maybe a quarter of a mile in diameter with a really fresh-looking, dark-colored pit. And that seems to be in contrast with all the other fresh little craters or holes that you can perceive on the walls of any of these craters. Around this particular one, there seems to be 2 or 3 of these, especially this one that caught my attention. It's quite remarkable.
Roger, do you have a location on that one?
No, not a precise one. I've got several pictures of it, though.
Roger, we copy.
That was Buzz Aldrin making a report, geological report on Backside Pass.
We're getting a beautiful picture in down here now, 11. The color's coming in quite clearly, and we can see the horizon and the relative blackness of space. And without getting into the question of grays and browns, it looks, at least on our monitor, sort of a brownish gray.
That's a good reasonable way of describing it. It appears to me as though it made a difference just sitting back in the tunnel and gazing at all windows. It makes a difference which one you're looking out of. For example, the camera right now is looking out the number 5 window, and it definitely gives a rosier or tanner tinge, especially when you look straight through it and not at an angle of it.
Roger.
GNC flight.
And we're about 95 or 100 degrees east, coming up on my C.
Still holding? Okay.
Say again, 11.
I'd say again we're about 95 degrees east, coming up on my C.
Roger, and for your information, we show you at an altitude of about 92 miles above the surface right now.
Okay. Houston, Apollo 11. Did you observe a difference in the N2 pressures before LOI? It seems to me as though the two were not equal, and the
Stand by.
small B tank was a lower pressure over.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I'm flying at an SCS minimum impulse, Houston, and it's rather difficult to keep it on a constant theta. The LEM wants to wander up and down. I'm not sure in response to mass cons or what, but I can get it completely stabilized in theta and let it alone, and in another couple of minutes it will have developed its own rate.
This is Houston, Roger.
That was Mike Collins making their report.
Houston, we'll be moving shortly from the side window to the hatch window, and we'll try and pick up some of the landmarks that we'll be looking at as we approach power descent. Over.
11, this is Houston, Roger, and we're through with the uplink. The computer is yours. You can go to block, and we'll have the information on nitrogen for you shortly. Over.
Roger, copy. Okay, Houston, several minutes ago I was exactly steady on theta, and since then I have been moving toward the LEM pointed straight down toward the radius vector, and that's been despite a number of down minimum pitch impulses.
Roger.
over Smythe C right now.
Roger.
We're about 88 degrees east, I would estimate.
We show you about south of the southwest of the crater Jansky right now.
My C doesn't look very much like a C. The area which is devoid of craters, of which there's not very much, is sort of a hilly looking area. It's not like a mare at all.
Roger, we copy that about the C, and looks like you were just giving us a view of the crater Nieper, the large crater on the left, and Jansky on the right.
That exchange between Capcom Bruce McCandless and Mike Collins aboard the Apollo 11 spacecraft.
We think you're close, but no cigar. Loud and clear. You faded out on your last transmission. Over.
Roger. Are you in wide beam now?
Negative. I got you locked back on again, reacting now.
Roger. That's all we want. We want to stay in narrow, and we're a little puzzled about why we lost you here a few minutes ago. Do you have any ideas?
Oh, sure do. We're showing about 15 degrees plus pitch and about 270. That ought to be good and clear.
We concur there. We still don't have any good ideas on why we were lost. 11, Houston, would you confirm that we did acquire automatically when you came around the limb for this passage? Over.
That's confirmed.
Thank you.
This is Apollo Control, Houston, 84 hours, 56 minutes now into the flight, Apollo 11. Our current apolloon, 65.1 nautical miles, current paraloon, 54.3 nautical miles. After receiving some noisy signal, Apollo 11 has locked back on in fine form. That was Buzz Aldrin speaking with Owen Garrett here in the Mission Control Center. I expect we will take a second look at why we had to lock on manually. As we receive any updates on this, we'll pass them along. We now read 84 hours, 57 minutes. And this is Apollo Control, Houston.
Apollo 11, Houston, over.
Houston, Apollo 11.
11, Houston, on your auto RCS select switches, we show Quad Bravo disabled, but Quad Charlie only partially disabled. Charlie 3, I believe, is the only one you have selected off. Is that correct?
Roger, that's correct.
This is Apollo Control, Houston, 85 hours, 5 minutes. Now into the flight, Apollo 11. We confirm from the ground following that conversation exchange. As was pointed out,
we see them all disabled at this time. Thank you.
as was pointed out, RCS Quad Charlie is now disabled. Following that conversational exchange between Owen Garrett and Buzz Aldrin. Buzz, the lunar module pilot, apparently are quite obviously still awake. 85 hours, 7 minutes now to the flight Apollo 11, continuing to monitor. This is Apollo Control, Houston.
Apollo 11, Houston, over.
Go ahead, Houston.
11 Houston, we're going to try to check out this ability to automatically reacquire on the S-band. And what we want to do is to secure our uplink carrier for about 30 seconds. Then we will turn it back on and see if the spacecraft equipment will automatically reacquire. So if you do not get a call from us within about 3 minutes, that means we have not been able to reacquire, and request your assistance on a manual acquisition, over.
Okay, we understand.
11 Houston, we also appreciate if you will note the angles that the antenna tracks through in its attempt to reacquire, over.
Roger, we'll do that. Jump. 40.
Eleven Houston, it looks like we're locked back up again with no delay. How does it look on board, over?
Roger, the signal strength dropped very rapidly to 0, and the pitch and yaw in about 3 seconds moved toward 40 degrees pitch and 240 degrees yaw. Right now they're setting on about 15 degrees pitch and about 265 degrees. Yeah, so they didn't move very far, about 30 degrees apiece, and then they picked right back on up again, over.
Roger, some of the luckiest people in the background there, we copied your pitch and yaw angles. 11 Houston, could you give us the location of your pitch and yaw location of your position indicators, over?
Roger, they're in the same position as the antenna right now, plus 15 degrees pitch, and no, wait a minute, I got it at about 75 instead of 365.
Okay, thank you. 11 Houston, we'd like to try the same procedure once more. We'll leave the carrier off a little longer and be back up for a call within 4 minutes, over.
Okay.
This is Apollo Control, Houston, 85 hours, 17 minutes now to the flight Apollo 11. What you heard in the conversation between Owen Garrett and Buzz Aldrin was following a communications check in which we secured the uplink carrier for some 30 seconds and waited a given a period of time, approximately 3 minutes, to see if the spacecraft would reacquire. We appeared to reacquire in fine form on this first test. We will repeat it, this test a second time, delaying approximately 4 minutes before we place a call to Apollo 11. At 85 hours 17 minutes, we currently read an altitude, spacecraft altitude of 56.1 nautical miles. Present velocity shows 5,367 feet per second. An apoloon 65 nautical miles, paraloon 54.4 nautical miles. Present weight in orbit remains a static 70,502 pounds. Present time in orbit, as shown on our displays, 1 hour, 58 minutes, 40 seconds. This is Apollo Control, Houston.
Pretty soon we'll be on the backside. Couldn't have done better myself.
Houston, we're locked back up again. Can you give us a report on how the antenna behaves?
Roger, it was essentially identical with before. The pitch went to 40 to 45, and the yaw went to about 255, 245 to 255. And then it rather quickly locked up at 15 degrees pitch and 270 yaw.
11 Houston, roger your angles 45 and 255. Do I understand that as soon as the carrier dropped, it went to these angles, or did it only go to these angles after the uplink carrier was re-enabled and the antenna began to hunt to reacquire? Over.
Now, as soon as the carrier dropped off, why, it drifted over to those angles and stayed there. And then when it came back up again, why, it hunted around for a while, but didn't get any further off. Gradually brought it on into the angles where it is right now, and then the signal strength would take several jumps as evidently it goes from wide to medium to narrow. Over.
11 Houston, understand. And on another subject, request you zero your optics for the night. Over.
Roger. Zero.
This is Apollo Control, Houston, at 85 hours, 27 minutes now into the flight, Apollo 11. We've run 2 tests thus far with the S-band antenna, which is reacquired nicely on both occasions. We're standing by for further possible conversations with the crew at this time. We're some 15 minutes away from predicted time of loss of signal on Apollo 11. Currently we read an apoloon of 65 nautical miles, a paraloon of 54.4 nautical miles. This is Apollo Control, Houston.
Apollo 11, Houston, can you confirm that you have changed the CO2 filter as per flight plan in the last hour? Over.
No, we're still eating. We're about to do it. We'll let you know.
Roger, 11. And we've got about 14 minutes to LOS. AOS is 8630, an hour away. We were wondering whether or not you plan to have one man up at that time, or would you all like to be asleep inside the next hour? Over.
Somebody will be up.
Roger. The thing that we're still puzzling on is the antenna, and if as long as there will be somebody up, why we would like to have somebody check the automatic react on the next AOS.
Okay, we'll do that. We haven't chlorinated the water yet, and we haven't changed the lithium hydroxide. We're just still finishing up dinner.
Roger, Mike. Thank you.
This is Apollo Control, Houston, 85 hours, 29 minutes now into the flight. That was Mike Collins reporting to capsule communicator Owen Garrett that the Apollo 11 crew completing dinner at this time. And earlier, perhaps, as you listened to the air ground, you heard some music in the background, soft music, which would indicate that This was being played in concert with their evening meal. When we reacquire, we expect one of the three crew members to still be, at least one to be still awake as we run a further check on our spacecraft antenna. At 85 hours 30 minutes into the flight of Apollo 11, this is Apollo Control Houston.
It may be raunchy later. It may be, there's no doubt about it. Yeah, I'll take a couple of
This is Apollo Control Houston.
West coming up in 2 minutes now, and AOS will be at 86 plus 28 plus 15, over.
We'll see you on the other side.
Roger.
85 hours 40 minutes at this time. That perhaps the last conversation we'll have with Apollo 11 until we reacquire. We're now 1 minute 20 seconds away from loss of signal. Continuing to stand by, this is Apollo Control Houston at 85 hours 41 minutes.
If I had water? I'll have a little. Okay. Yep. Well, I guess what I'd really like to do is to soak a towel.
This is Apollo Control Houston. We've had loss of signal as the Apollo 11 spacecraft begins its pass around the far side of the moon at 85 hours 42 minutes.
Everybody through the water? Yeah, go ahead. Everything you got? Nope. Doc, hey, remember when they told us about that putting buttons on the seat of these pants? No, I don't remember. Yeah, they were working up this elaborate scheme. You had your choice between that and Velcro. What'd you choose? I mean, don't get me hanging. Well, whatever I chose, they didn't give me. Didn't have anything. Nothing on it. What'd you choose? They told me you guys had Velcro on yours. Maybe on the other side. I guess a pair of jockey shorts. Yeah, I just cut the legs off. Lace off. Yeah, I guess it's good. How'd you sleep last night, Buzz, up on top? You open up the outer one and you put the inner one in there and squeeze it and it breaks. And then you got to take the set and go by the inspection and mush it all up. You get that stuff evenly distributed through it. Once you guys sleep underneath tonight, I'll switch top bed. Oh, you're going to sleep outside tonight, huh? Yeah, that's right. Unless you'd rather sleep up top, Buzz. I like, you guys ought to get a good night's sleep going in that damn limb. How about, which would you prefer? Was that probe and drug going to be in your way over there? Well, take your druthers, whichever you prefer. Is there another 6 right over here? Just kind of looking around for it. Side. Here. Go. Yeah, I got bunch. Well, I thought today went pretty well. Tomorrow, the next day, like today, good day. You got a crater coming up right through here. I don't know if you can see it or not. All right, let me get a picture of it because there's really a big roof down the bottom. Don't look like it. Not this way. Go ahead. Yeah. I'm not sure we should be shooting at what we're shooting at or 125th. I guess we're all right. And this light stuff, I guess we're all right. Thank you. Oops. You want more? Right. What time is it now? 88 hours? The crater walls have scallops inside like a design in a fan, like feathers. Two shells. Yeah. That's two shells. Very pretty. Very symmetrical. Taking on craters. I took overlapping pictures of all that line as well. Now I want to take, have to carry a lot of film to take as many pictures as I want. Oh, okay, let me go do that. Do I know what AOS is? Yeah. What is AOS compared to that thing? It's like 3 or 4 minutes early. 86:31? I think it's 6:30. Where the hell is the horizon with the world coming over it? I guess it's behind it, huh? There, we'll see if we can get an Earthrise picture. Coming up from the thing. Yeah. Black and white. There's a color one right in there. And then a temporary source there. And a temporary source there. There's a color. Dark spot, I think, right over there in the dark shell.
This is Apollo Control Houston. We're now less than 2 minutes away from acquisition of signal on Apollo 11, and in Mission Control Center Houston, we're standing by. Mark, 1 minute from predicted acquisition of signal.
Yeah, that's better.
We should be acquiring. We're standing by.
Pictures of the sun. Another master alarm coming in here. The F8 is 250 at infinity. Good deal. Keep clicking, we got a lot of room. Yeah, it's so peculiar. Now the bunker. Good deal. Glad to hear. Good? Yeah. Good. It's good right here. Oh, that's real. Look at that gilding the lily. Black.
Houston, Apollo 11, over.
11 Houston, loud and clear here, over.
Okay, we just appeared to get a solid lock for the last, about a minute. The tune for max needle's been wandering up and down, and the pitch and yaw needles have been wandering around, but it appears to have reacquired by itself solidly now. We're just finishing up our fuel cell purge. Hydrogen on number 3 is the last to go off. It'll be coming off just in a second.
Roger, 11.
Huh?
Apollo 11, Houston, we believe we've tracked down the reacquisition problem we had on the previous rev. It looks like it was a receiver power supply here on the ground, and no problems in the spacecraft at all, over.
Okay, glad to hear.
All right. That's slow. It's on, yeah.
11, that really winds things up as far as we're concerned on the ground for the evening. We're ready to go to bed and get a little sleep, over.
Yeah, we're about to join you.
This is Apollo Control, Houston. 86 hours, 33 minutes. You heard that last exchange. The Mission Control Center has isolated our earlier loss of lock on with the S-band antenna to a faulty power supply at Goldstone, which in turn introduced noisy data, causing a ground-based receiver to go out of lock. This power supply, a 24-volt one, has already been replaced at Goldstone. In summary, the spacecraft looks good, and the difficulty was caused here on the ground. At 86 hours, 34 minutes, we now read our orbit at 64.9 nautical miles apoloon, 54.6 nautical miles paraloon. This is Apollo Control, Houston. This is Apollo Control Houston at 86 hours 52 minutes, now into the flight, Apollo 11. Our current altitude on the Apollo 11 spacecraft now reads 64.9 nautical miles. This corresponds with our apolloon of 64.9 nautical miles. Our paraloon on this pass 54.6 nautical miles. We've had no further conversation with the Apollo 11 crew, nor do we expect to do so. We will take the loop down at this time and stand by if any further conversation should develop. At 86 hours 53 minutes into the flight, this is Apollo Control Houston. This is Apollo Control Houston at 87 hours 31 minutes, now into the flight, Apollo 11. The Apollo 11 spacecraft continues on its front side pass above the moon. We're now less than 10 minutes away from a loss of signal. The Apollo 11 crew currently in their rest period. We've received no indication yet that any of the three crew members are actually sleeping, although all three appear to be in a very restful mode. This will be the final sleep period for the crew, now at the threshold of their prime mission objective, the final sleep period prior to landing on the lunar surface and returning. The next scheduled rest period will in fact take place on the surface of the moon.